Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Node.js and Mongoose mini-series. In this one, we'll go through about how to write data to our database. In the previous one, we talked about schemas and models and that kind of stuff, and we've defined a schema, we've created a model. Now, it's time to write some actual data to our database. Right, so how do we do that? Well, in our project, we've got one sample place, which is the post one, and this one has basically it's got a code which saves to a fake database, but instead of saving it to a fake database, because we've got a real database now, let's save it to the real database. Now that we've defined a model, we can create a new object off of the model, assign it the attributes that we want to assign, and then we can save that model, save that changed model, right? So easy, just create a new variable. And call it new choice or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it equals new. This is the actual keyword, choice model. So because the choice model contains the type of each record and it knows what where to save it in the actual physical database, which is the choices collection, and it knows what each object is supposed to look like, we're creating an instance of each of those of that schema, and we're calling it new choice. And this new instance will store the data that we want it to store. So it's ice cream name and name, right? So new choice dot ice cream name equals choice. And then we'll say we'll store the name as well. So new choice dot name equals name, right? And now to save the data, here's a really easy thing to do. It's new choice dot save, and this is a callback function. So you need to give it a callback function that you want it to call back once save has happened. So function. The first argument is error, if any error has happened, and the second argument is the saved object. So saved object, and that's it. That's how you save the data. Now, because this is asynchronous, what will happen is it will run the save, and then it will continue on with this stuff, and it will send the actual object without making sure that the object is saved. What we want to do is we want to say if error happens, yeah, log the error, console.log error, and we want to send back a response, right? So we want to do res.send. We want to set the status to be 500. So res.status 500.send. Else, so if no error has happened, then we want to be able to send the actual response, so res.send, and the saved object. And we'll just comment a piece of code for now. Yeah. Right, so let's go through quickly what we've done. We've created a new instance of the model and called it new choice. So this is an object that is going to be saved in the choice collection that choices collection that we've defined here. And what we are doing is we're saying that object dot key, which is what we've defined earlier on, which is this bit here, and we're expecting type to be string. We're saving it, so we're saying I'm going to save my choice variable to this key in my object, and I'm going to save my name variable in this key in this database object. And then we're saying new choice.save function error saved object. So if error happens, then log my error and send a blank status with 500 status code set to it. Else, send the actual saved object. Now the saved object, if saved correctly, will have a ID field. So you won't see just two fields, you will actually see three fields. One will be _ID, which will contain the ID of the Mongoose object, and then the rest two will be the two that you've just saved. And else send 401. So we need to have month name equal to month. So let's remove that block of code to remove any restrictions, right? Because that's not a very good thing to have in the first place. But let us log the name if it's mountain. So if name equals mountain name, or we'll just say like name is name. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now that we've got the basic code set up, let's try it out. So save that, restart the server, or start the server actually, npm start, and now it's got the connection, so it says connection accepted. That's good. And let's send a request to our post. So remove the log because we don't need it anymore. And that's saved. See, we get a Mongoose ID. Now, if you're like me, you're like, hang on a minute, but that looks staged to me. It's not saved. I'm totally not like that, but yeah. So to check it in the actual database, we will open the command line and we'll go to the database, Mongo, use test. We're going to use the test database, db.choices.find, and we've got our object. To make it pretty, we got our object. So that object is actually saved in the database. Now, the reason you see this as a string and this as an object ID string is because it's an object ID. Each ID field in Mongoose, or each field with object ID type, is object ID instance. So yeah, just for a quick thing, we'll cover that afterwards when we're going to be doing a bit more complex stuff in Mongoose, so that's fine, don't worry about it for now. Right, so that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. In the next one, we'll do how to read data from a MongoDB database in Node.js Express and how to send the response back. So instead of doing this stuff, we'll actually send the real data back. So, cheers, guys. See you then. Bye.